Live from WTOC, the Southeast News leader. The News Now starts on WTOC Plus.
Welcome to The News on WTOC Plus. I'm digital anchor Jude Binkley. 2 people were killed and a teenager was critically injured in a head-on crash that caused one car to catch on fire last night. Here's what we know. The crash happened around 10:49 at Sea Island Parkway and Estes Landing Road, according to officials. The Ladies Island St. Helena Fire District says a Honda and a Subaru crashed head-on, causing the Subaru to burst into flames. A 54-year-old man driving the Subaru and a 17-year-old girl in the Honda died at the scene. A 17-year-old boy who was also in the Honda was taken to a hospital in critical condition. The Ladies Island St. Helena Fire District responded to the crash, and emergency crews worked at the scene for several hours while investigators examined the wreckage. Law enforcement did close Sea Island Parkway in both directions during that response and investigation. The highway has since reopened after crews cleared the scene. Turning now to the crime watch, a Port Wentworth man has been sentenced to life in prison after a jury found him guilty of killing the mother of his child. The crime happened in front of their 5-month-old son. Prosecutors say Sean Antonio Bolden Jr. shot and killed Deanna Ellison inside of their Port Wentworth home in May 2021, shooting her 11 times while their 5-month-old son was there. Neighbors called 911 after hearing gunshots and seeing a man run from the home. Officers forced their way inside and found the infant screaming. Bolden was later arrested after a high-speed chase across 2 counties. A jury returned a guilty verdict in just 35 minutes. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole, plus 5 additional years. We do have continuing coverage. A Statesboro family is turning their loss into purpose. After losing their 4-year-old son in an accidental shooting last year, they're now speaking out about the importance of gun safety issues. Landon Wilkerson accidentally shot himself with a firearm back in May of last year. Police say the gun was in an accessible area of the house. Landon's legacy event last night was to honor him as the family continues to mourn his death.
He was going to grow up to be a great man because I'm his mama.
And how much does it hurt that he never gets to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Landon's family and friends say there will be more events to carry on his legacy. Turning now to state news, Georgia lawmakers are rethinking one of the state's biggest economic incentives, tax breaks for data centers. 2 new Senate bills could roll back or entirely eliminate sales tax exemptions that have helped fuel data center growth across the state. State House reporter Abby Casoris reports on how this debate is now picking up speed.
Across the state, packed public meetings and protests are becoming the norm, with Georgians raising concerns about rising energy bills, water use, and what these massive projects mean for their health and the environment.
We don't want data centers in our backyard.
Data centers, massive buildings packed with servers, are spreading rapidly across Georgia. They don't create many permanent jobs. They consume enormous amounts of power and water, but business leaders say the centers play a critical role. Georgia Chamber of Commerce President Chris Clark told a room of business leaders this week data centers are essential for storing data and can bring in significant local tax revenue.
I love the proposal from a county commissioner this last week to do away with property taxes and replace it with the taxes that the data centers are paying. Great.
Right now, Georgia exempts data center equipment from state sales tax, both for large hyperscale projects and bulk computer purchases. 2 new Senate bills would change that. One bipartisan bill would speed up the expiration of the tax break. The other, a Republican priority bill, would repeal it altogether.
I think where we're at right now is we look at what is the true return on investment.
A recent University of Georgia study found roughly 70% of data center projects would still have come to Georgia without state incentives, costing the state $625 million in revenue last year alone.
Some estimates show that $500 million could grow almost to $1 billion. And whether it's needed or not, I mean, I think it's a fair debate.
Abby Casoris, Atlanta News First.
Well, tax forms should be arriving in your mailbox any day now, and there are some big changes to know this year. First up, higher standardized deductions. It used to be $15,000 for single filers and is now going up by $750. For married couples filing jointly, it's now $31,500. There's also now a cap on how much you can pay in state and local taxes, depending on adjusted gross income. Another change, eligible workers who depend on tips can now deduct up to $25,000 from their taxable income. And the Department of Education is hitting pause on its plan to garnish wages of student loan borrowers who are in default. Also being delayed, the seizure of tax refunds and other federal benefits from those who have student loan debt. The collections were set to begin this month. In a statement, education officials say the temporary delay will give them time to implement reforms to the student loan system. It is unclear how long the garnishments will be paused. Well, a small town in Georgia is pushing back after learning it is under consideration for a new massive ICE detention facility. The town of Social Circle, which is just east of Atlanta, came together with their message to keep immigration officials out. Rafael Romo spoke with residents about why exactly they're united in opposition. Take a look.
Social Circle is a very sweet, small town in Georgia. It's a very conventional, old-fashioned, lovely little town.
But all that may be about to change in this town of 5,000, located about 45 miles east of Atlanta.
Is this a conversation that is being had?
Oh yeah, people around the town are all talking about it.
Many people here, like Gareth Fenley, are convinced that the federal government wants to convert this warehouse in a detention center for as many as 10,000 immigrants, which would triple the town's population.
I myself am also against having ICE transform industrial warehouses into detention centers. I think that's a really, really bad idea from a human rights perspective.
Fenley, a human rights activist, says she organized a protest when she received a tip that people from out of town were going to survey the facility. David Keener, who's starting his 7th year as mayor of Social Circle, is opposed as well.
Painful. I don't want that here. This is not the town for that. If I had to sum it up in 2 words, go away.
And so is the town leadership for reasons, they say, that have nothing to do with politics or the Trump administration's crackdown on illegal immigration.
It has nothing to do with what the political situation is. For us, it simply just comes down to the fact that we're a small town of 5,000 people. We have a very limited water and sewer infrastructure. It's too close to elementary school.
Social Circle Elementary is located only 4,000 feet from the warehouse. John Miller, a businessman who owns horse stables across the street from the warehouse, says the entire town is united against this, even beyond political differences.
Regardless of your ideological bent, most people in Social Circle are about Social Circle first. We're about our lifestyle.
CNN asked the Department of Homeland Security about the issue, but so far, there has been no reply. As CNN reported in October, DHS is funneling $10 billion through the Navy to help facilitate the construction of a sprawling network of migrant detention centers across the U.S.
I don't know that it's a done deal. No one has contacted me from ICE nor federal government nor the property owner. And as of today, we've not received an application for a detention center in that location.
For Georgia's greatest little town, it's a battle residents say they can't afford to lose.
Well, back here in the southeast part of the state, happening tomorrow, a special election in McIntosh County over a zoning ordinance that could impact Sapelo Island. Gullah Geechee residents in the Hog Hammock community are pushing back against new zoning changes that allow larger homes to be built in the area. They say the changes could drive up costs, force families out, and threaten generations of history. After collecting enough signatures, the issue is now headed to a county-wide referendum. Polls will be open tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. In sports news, after 2 weeks of searching and 9 interviews, the Atlanta Falcons have found their guy. Kevin Stefanski was named the 20th head coach in franchise history Saturday night. So what exactly went into the interview process, and what should fans know about the new hire? Well, Kinsey Lee has those answers.
As we all go through life, we all have life experiences, and hopefully you grow through them, you learn from them, and then when you have the same opportunity to make another decision, you make it a little bit differently if it was a mistake previously.
The Falcons' hunt for a new head coach started with adding a new position to lead the search, the president of football.
There's got to be a level of presence that you have to have, as a coach, and the ability to command respect of your players.
In his first big decision as an executive, Matt Ryan lands 2-time NFL Coach of the Year Kevin Stefanski. Ryan and Stefanski both Philadelphia natives, and Ryan released a statement after the hire mentioning Stefanski bringing a clear vision for his staff, which is already coming together. Reportedly, Jeff Ulbrich will remain as the defensive coordinator, and Stefanski bringing in offensive coordinator Tommy Rees and O-line coach Bill Callahan alongside him from Cleveland.
I think you're looking for people who can build great staffs, and you don't do it by yourself as a head coach. You do it with the people that are around you as well.
Stefanski landed his first head coaching gig with the Cleveland Browns in 2020, and in his 6 seasons there, worked with 13 different quarterbacks, finishing with a losing record of 45-56, but still leading the Browns to 2 playoff berths. However, it was time to turn the page. Now getting to work with a load of young talent on this Falcons roster and an up-and-coming quarterback in Michael Penix. On to a fresh start for Stefanski and for the Falcons. Kinsey Lee, Atlanta News First.
And tonight, a new champion of college football will be crowned. It's top-ranked Indiana taking on 10th-ranked Miami in the College Football Playoff National Championship. The Hurricanes do get home field advantage with the game happening at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, but the Hoosiers have continued to surprise everyone throughout the season. They enter the game undefeated at 15-0, but are ready to take it to a whole new level.
I think it's time to sharpen the saw now, throw those warm fuzzies out the door, that sentimentalism. It's time to go play a game against a great opponent. We got to have a sharp edge going into this game, and you don't go to war with warm milk and cookies.
The way that this year has gone, it's been unbelievable. It's been ups and downs, a roller coaster ride, but the way that this team has been able to handle adversity and just bounce back from so many doubters and people, not believing in us, it's been pretty unbelievable. And I'm super excited that this team has this opportunity to go play in this national championship game.
I know how much it would mean to people, and I know that the best way to accomplish this goal is to really just focus on the football. Myself focusing on the job and myself focusing on the present gives the Hoosiers the best chance to win, and I owe it to my teammates, to my coaches, and also Hoosier Nation.
Yeah, it's been so cool watching Fernando Mendoza play this season. Really special year for Indiana. And this is pretty cool. No matter which team comes out on top, at least one Savannah native will become a champion. Savannah Christian grad Mark Langston is the long snapper for Indiana, while Benedictine's third Scroggins has gotten into the rotation as a defensive lineman for Miami. Well, today we honor the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a leader who pushed a nation to live up to its promise of equality and justice for all. From leading the Montgomery bus boycott to the March on Washington, where he delivered his iconic I Have a Dream speech, Dr. King pushed for civil rights through nonviolence and a vision of equality. His work helped shape laws, open doors, and spark a movement that continues to influence generations. And we hope you were able to watch some of the Savannah MLK Day parade earlier. We went from about 10 to 12:30. We had it on WTOC and WTOC Plus. One of the biggest MLK Day parades in the entire nation. Really special. There were over 200 attendees and groups, including WTOC. We had the Storm Tracker out there. Really cool broadcast. I was watching it from right here in the studio. And we'll have a little bit more highlights and some more video from it throughout the afternoon and evening shows right here on WTOC. All right, and finally, today is Dolly Parton's 80th birthday, but she's the one giving to others. A new version of her 1977 single, Light of a Clear Blue Morning, is now available, along with a new music video. Proceeds from both are going to a children's hospital in Nashville to support pediatric cancer research. The song features other stars like Queen Latifah and Miley Cyrus. Parton's website says it has a message of hope and love. Happy birthday to Miss Parton. All right, and with that, we are going to wrap things up here for the news on WTOC Plus. We appreciate y'all spending part of your Monday afternoon with us. We'll be back in just about 45 minutes for another round of stories during Welcome to Our Community with Dawn Baker. She's had a busy day going from the parade and doing the broadcast of that to the 3 o'clock show. So tune in for that. And in the meantime, you can check out our website at WTOC.com for the latest updates and headlines. Thanks for watching, and here's Local News Live.